This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Well, so in the previous session, we are trying to discuss about the CRUD operations that we can perform on the database, and most importantly, what is database. And after that, we just walk through the SQL Server as well, which means UI in the sense user interface. User interface in the sense what? Let's say I just opened this one, right? A PPT, right? So this is nothing but an user interface. You are able to know what are all the things you have, maybe in the title bar, maybe in the task bar, maybe in the slides. Like, you know, what are the things you can do. So user interface in the sense the screen which you are seeing right now. This is the PPT user interface. Okay, now if I open something, yeah, something like this is the go to meeting user interface. Okay, if I open any Google, see, this is the Google interface. Now, if I open SSMS, this is the SQL server user interface. Okay, this walkthrough we have done, and after that we come across CRUD operations. Those are nothing but create, read, update, and delete. So if you want to create any object, you'll be going for create. You're able to read whatever the created things that we have in the database, and you can update the existing one in the database, and you can delete the existing one from the database. Okay, so these four operations, what are those operations? I'm not talking about the commands. These are operations that you can perform on any database. It might be SQL Server, it might be Oracle, it can be MyDB, anything. These operations you can perform on the database. And after that, we just talked about overview on all SQL statements, which is also known as sub languages of SQL. Okay, so later we are digging deep into this DDL, right? Now, so when the question comes, what can we do with DDL? Here we have few things. We can create something, we can drop, we can alter, and we can truncate. So uh, theoretically we discussed about it, but I believe if you learn something theoretically, you will not remember for longer time. If you practice something, you will remember for longer time. So I will try to explain all these commands practically so that you will be remembering for longer time. Okay. Okay, now first we will talk about this create statement. Okay, so what is this create? It is generally a command. Create is a word. Okay, keyword. What kind of word it is? Keyword. Okay, so by using this create keywords with the help of some syntax, we are able to create the objects in the database. Okay, so what is mean by syntax here? In general, what is the definition your teachers has given to you? See, syntax is nothing but a lines of a particular code, or else the structure that you need to follow. Syntax is nothing but it's a structured, okay, that you need to follow wherever you go. So that syntax, that is nothing but a syntax. Go and Google it. Just understand the definition. Okay, now I will show you how we can create something. So first, let me create a database here. So right now I didn't connected it to anything. Let me execute this one. See, I didn't connect it because I already opened this one. So if you again open, you should connect to your you know your database. Right now I don't have any database. Let us assume these are all the previous databases I just created. Now I want to create a new database um, with the name called db underscore let me take, okay, my db underscore or else db underscore batch 11. Okay, something like this I want to create. Okay, now how can I create a database? How can I create that? By using create statement. Okay, now create. Okay, I have used create state, I mean create keyword. Now what is the syntax to create a database? Create database, database name, semicolon. So this is the syntax you need to follow. Syntax in the sense structure that you have to follow while writing a code. Okay, if you want to create a database, this format you can follow, and this database name can be anything. This create and the database, these two are nothing but a keywords which you need to maintain, and this database name is nothing but your wish. You can take whatever the database you want to take that. Okay, now I just want to create a database. See, to comment out the line, what I have done, I have used hyphen. More than two hyphen you need to give. More than two in the sense, see, if you take one, it will be showing you as an error. So I don't want this to happen. What I need is, say I want to comment out this line. To comment out single line, you are having this hyphen in this SQL server. See, this is also one of the interview question. Actually, my friend, one of my friend attending an interview, where he was asked a question that how can you comment out a line in a my DB? Actually, he's from my DB background. Okay, so how can you comment out, in my DB? So yeah, this is not that critical question. At the same time, this is also not that leftover question. It's good if you know that. Okay, now I am creating a database here. By the way, did I start recording the session? Okay. Yeah, create database, and the name you need to take here, name is db underscore mm, let me take like this. Okay, this is the database I just want to create. So how can you run this one? Select, just select this one and hit execute button. So instead of hitting execute button, you can also execute the same query by using a shortcut. So what is the shortcut we have? Control E. Okay, remember. So just execute, just select this one and click execute button. See, command completed successfully, which means this particular command created successfully. Always remember, whatever the DML operation you are, sorry, DDL operation you are performing, for all those DDL operations, for all those DDL commands, you will be getting messages like this only if it is successful. Okay, for every DDL, either it can be drop, it can be truncate, it can be alter, it can be create. For every DDL, you will be getting like this only. Okay, now where you can see this DB11, where you can see this DB11, expand the server that you have created, I mean expand the server that you're connected, expand the databases. See, are you able to see your database? No. Why? You have to refresh this one. How can you refresh this? Here you can click refresh button, or else here right click on the databases and hit refresh button. Okay, right click on the database and hit refresh button, then you will be seeing your database. So this is the database that we have created now. Now can we expand the database now? Just click on this plus symbol and see everything it is providing the moment you create a database. Now can we expand the tables? Yes. Do we have any tables here? No. So these are all the system tables, file tables. Those are different concepts, those are not required for us. Okay, so we didn't created any tables in this database. Why we didn't created it? Because now only we just created this database, right? Yes. After creating the database, I want to use this database. How can I use that? How can I change master database to the DB batch 11 database? Click on this drop down and select this one, right? So here the database got changed, and even here also the database got changed. Now, Bhavya, I don't want to change manually. I don't want to change, database manually. I want something in a code. In a code, I want to change it. For that, you have use keyword. Use database name, enough. What is the syntax to use the database? Use database name. That's it. You should not, you're not supposed to use database keyword as well. Okay, just use database name, enough. Now I'm just moving into master database now. Now by using this command, I just want to shift master database to the db underscore batch 11 database. Now for that, what I should use keyword, use db underscore, okay, this one. Now just execute this query. How can you execute? By using execute button or else control e. I just pressed control e now. Okay, see, for this also it is showing command completed successfully. It is just a command, right? See, I didn't told you that only for DDL. For all the DDL commands, this is the message. For only DDL, I'm not talking about it. There are few statements also who will give the same message. Along with that, I'm just telling you DDL is the best example. Okay, now the moment I run this particular command, what happened? Here automatically master database is changing to what? Batch 11 database. Clear? Okay. Now this is the batch 11 database, right? Now I'm in a batch 11 database. Fine. Now I want to create a table. I want to create a table. How can you create a table?
Create table name. Table name.
Okay, so yeah, fine. Before that, I just want to show you. Now, is this a table? Is this a table? This one, the one which I'm showing. Is this a table?
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Now, is this a table? Yeah, whether it is right or wrong, it's okay. Is this a table? Yes, it is a table. It is a table. See, even though you have only one row, it doesn't mean it is not a table. We have created a table with few columns. Right now we don't have any record. That is why no records were there. Yes, no records was there. See, now is this a table? We have created it, but no records are there. That's it. No records are there. So once we start inserting the records, the rows increases. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to create something like this in the database. To create like this, now see, this is the table. Yes, we know that we can insert the records if you want. Okay, let's say name, let's take Bhavya. ID is somehow 12. Which ID I have taken? Okay, salary is some 3000. Hire date is today's date. Let me take something 6/11/2024, and department is 20th department. Okay, let us assume like this. Now like that, I keep on inserting the records. Now as a human, this is a table in the Excel. I am filling the values manually. Just because of that, I know in the name column name need to be inserted, in the ID column IDs need to be inserted, in the salary column salaries must be inserted. So as a human I know that. Okay, because I can't insert ID into the name, right? So this is the EF code rule. You can't insert these values into this one. If you insert, what happens? You will get output wrongly. Okay, that is an uncleaned data or else unorganized data if you have 12 in name column. If you have swapping of values, higher date in name, salary in department, if you have something like this, that is wrong data, unorganized data. Okay, now just because we are able to understand what kind of data that can be fit into this table, we are just simply inserting. But how can a SQL server know that? How can a SQL server know that?
By
Here
using
SQL server,
data type.
exactly. See, you can't, I mean, if you create a table without a data type, SQL server will never understand what you're doing. If you give the data type, then it can able to understand, okay, into the name column only string data I need to accept. Okay, into ID column only integer data I need to accept. So this is how the SQL server thinks and executes the query that we have written. So we can't create a table without a data type. So can we prove that? Yes. So let us try to create that one. Firstly, I will give you a syntax. So for one line, to comment out one line, I have hyphen symbol. To comment out multiple lines, I have forward slash star, and here you can write whatever you want. I'm just writing this one. Create table, table name of columns, data type, and this is an optional one, comma. Like this many you can create, full stop. So like how many columns you can create? Column n, data type, and it's an optional one. If you want, you can take it. Okay, and you need to close this one. Again, star forward slash. See, this will be in a comment now. Okay, now if you want to write something here, syntax for table creation. Okay, so this is the syntax. Now I am telling you that you can't create a table without a data type. Let us try to see that. Create table. So I'm just taking sample one as my table. sample1 of, so column I'm just taking name comma id, two columns I'm just taking, two columns. Okay, now I'll try to create this one. See, the definition for column name must include what? Data type. Getting? See, I will make you understand the concept by using errors. Okay, remember that point. From the errors only we will be learning more. Now what it is asking? Hey developer, you are unable to create a column name. I mean, you're unable to take a column name. Why? Because you must include a data type, which you are missing now. This error is telling us the same thing. You can't create a table without a data type. Now, what are all the data types that we have in SQL Server? What are all the data types that is supporting in the market? That we will try to understand, and then we will try to create a table. Okay, now to store strings, we have varchar, char data types. To store integers, see, before digging deep, we must know about what? Data types and constraints. So we will be seeing constraints later. As of now, we will go with data types. Okay, so these are all the data types that SQL Server is supporting. Okay, I will try to tell you with each. I mean, I'll try to tell you about this one in a deeper. Okay, try to understand this one. Yeah, so very first one is integer. I'll try to talk about this integer. Okay, now what do you understand about this data type? To store what kind of values?
Can store numerical values like integer type of values.
Exactly, to store integer kind of values, you're going for int data type. For example, 1 2 something like this. Okay, 4 something like this. Now to store float kind of values, which means
We use
float means
decimal
You
decimal
numbers
values.
in point.
exactly. So
Decimal
1.4,
values.
yeah, 2.5 something like this. Decimal values are nothing but this one only, right? Yes, to store decimal values we are using float. Now money is nothing but what? If you want to store money kind of, let's say salary column we have, right? To store that we have uh, money data type. See, the same, if you want to store salaries in an integer, in the integer format also you can store, but in a rare case we use this money data type. Okay, but why I'm telling you is we have this data type, that is why I'm discussing. But most importantly, we will be using integer to store the salary as well, to store the amount, to store the salaries, to store the commission, everything we will be using integer only. Okay, now to store the date values into the column, we are going for date data type. Okay, so date in the sense today's date, let us assume 6, sorry 9, right? Let me erase this one. Okay, um so today something 9, right? 9, and then we have okay, something like this. Okay, something like this date you have. If you want to store any date, higher date, um if you talk about orders table, ordered date, shipped date, effective date, start date, end date, something like this. If you're storing a date, then you should go for date. If you want to store date along with the time, then you should go with date time. Okay, very simple. So to store integer values, you have int type. To store float values, you have float. To store money, if you required, you can go with money data type, or else you can use integer, I mean int data type. To store date, you have date data type. To store date along with the time, you have date time data type. Okay, so these 5 data types aside, now here comes a very important concept, which are nothing but char, varchar, and varchar. To store strings in the sense words, alphabets, alphanumerical values. To store all these things, you should go for char, varchar, and nvarchar. See, alphanumerical values are nothing but what? A, B, 1, 0, A, capital A, Z, 6. See, this value is nothing but what? Alpha numerical value, which means combination of alphabets and combination of numerical values are nothing but alpha numeric values. Okay, to store alphanumerical values, to store names are also strings only, right? See, bear my writing, I'm just writing with the mouse. Okay, to store names, and one more thing, what else we left? To store integers. So Bhavya, for to store integers, you have int data type, no? See, integers are supported by both varchar, char, and nvarchar, as well as int. Okay, but these names and alphanumeric values only supported by char, varchar, and nvarchar. Okay, so the moment I say names, it can include words, it can include paragraphs. So you know, right? Paragraphs in the sense. And alphabets. Okay, so these all can be stored here. Now, Bhavya, to store the same values, same alphanumerical values, names, it can be words, paragraphs, alphabets, and integers. Why we have 3 different data types? This is your question, right? To store integers, see, so not integers, to store strings. In technical terms, we call it as its strings, characters or strings. strings, strings. Okay, to store strings or to store characters, we must use char, varchar, and nvarchar. So that is what I'm just telling you with an example. This is also a string, this is also a string, and this is also a string. This is also a string, this is also a string, and this is also a string. Getting? Now, Bhavya, then why we have all these different data types? I'll tell you here. See, very first data type that was introduced to the market was char. Okay, so after introducing char, scientists noticed that there is a waste of space. Why waste of space? I'll tell you with an example. See, I have created a table here. uh, I'll use this space. Okay, I think you're able to see this, right? Yeah, so this is a table. Okay, so for the name column, I have few columns. Okay, I have few columns, something like this. Yeah, now it is called as table. Okay, now uh, this is the name column. I'm just taking only one column name. This is the name column and this is the ID and this is the salary. Okay, and this is the hire date and this is the commission. Okay, now this name column was created with the data type called char. Okay, now for the name column, so this is the name column, right? Char of 10 I have taken. See, char of, let us assume 10. Okay, now a 10 spaces is created something like this. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, a 10 spaces is created. Now what I have done, I have created a table with few columns, and from that few columns there is a column name called name. A name column was created with the help of data type char, char of 10. Now in the backend, so this is all the backend issue. So what happens in the backend, I'm just showing you. Okay, so char of 10, a column got created. Now into this name column I am trying to insert Bhavya name. Okay, now here I'll be having B and here I'll be having H, A, V, Y, A. And the remaining space 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 leftover spaces, right? This space will be wasted. If you try to insert one more name, again one more block is created. Okay, this time you're inserting some Sai. Example as Sai, S, A, I. And the leftover space, 7 leftover space. Here I have 4 leftover spaces and here I'll be having 7 leftover spaces. So 4 plus 7, 11 spaces will be wasted. Okay, so if this continues, much space will be wasted, right? So what happens if the space is wasted? Obviously storage is wasted. To overcome such thing, to maintain not to waste anything, we come across varchar data type. See, if you start using char of 10 and if you're still executing this one, see, right now I have taken only 10. What if I have 100? Only 6 spaces I'm just using, and remaining spaces, all 94 spaces will be wasted, right? If the leftover space is wasted like that, there is a storage issue. What happens if I get storage issue? I need to give extra amount to buy a storage. Getting? I need to give some extra amount to buy a storage. So in order not to do that, I am just going for varchar data type. So what varchar data type will do? Whatever, see, the same concept. Here instead of char I'll be taking varchar. So varchar of 10 means 6 spaces got filled, the remaining spaces are there, right? So the next name is Sai, right? Here onwards it is start storing. Here onwards it is storing, and one space was left. Again I get something called maybe Sailu. Okay, so again S, here the next block is there, right? SA. If it is wrong, okay, forgive me. ILU. Okay, something like this I'm just taking. And here there is also a leftover space. That space will be utilized by the next name. So what happens here? The space got wasted? No. Because of the drawback in char data type, varchar comes into the picture. Now we are using varchar only for every column. We are using varchar data type only. Okay, so if we know there is only a few particular digits or a few particular alphabets, only few particular alphanumerical values need to be inserted into the column, at that time you can take care. So Bhavya, why to take risk? We can go with varchar. Happily go. No one will object you. In fact, in the projects we are using only varchar for every column. Not about money, not about integers. No, only date. For date only we are using date data type. Rest of the columns we are using varchar only. Getting what I'm just trying to tell you? Now, because of the disadvantages in the car, varchar comes into the picture. Though it has disadvantages, we can use char also. So Bhavi, we don't want to do that. Okay, no worries, go with varchar. Now what is this nvarchar? See, nvarchar also will give the same advantages like how varchar is giving. Okay, nvarchar is also executing how varchar is executing. Nvarchar is also utilizing the leftover space like how varchar is utilizing. But what is the difference? I will tell you. While creating a table, you use varchar. So into this varchar column, you can insert the values which you can see on the keyboard. What are all the values that you are able to see on the keyboard right now? All those values you can insert into the table with varchar data type. Now I just want to insert any Chinese symbol, French symbol, or Telugu symbol, or Hindi symbol, something like that. Only symbols you need to insert. At that time you should be going with nvarchar. Okay, getting? To accept special characters, we will be going for nvarchar. So what is meant by special characters? Chinese characters, French characters, Japanese characters, Telugu characters, Hindi, Urdu, Tamil. All these are nothing but a special characters. See, a character which is except English. All those characters are nothing but what? Special characters. Okay, so this is how different shows here. But are we able to see this? No. Actually, this is working in the backend. Okay, this is how it works in the backend. Okay, so if you try to create something, it won't show you anything. Okay, it will just simply give you a table, something like that. Now let us try to create this. Okay, so can we create a table now? You know data types, right? Now what is the error? I just want to create keep this error. End of this session, end of the course, I will share this worksheet with you. That is where I'm just copying error also. Error. Okay, now how can we create this? Create table sample1 of name. So for name, what data type we should use? Char, varchar, or nvarchar? Which one?
Char or varchar, anything is no problem.
Anything is fine.
But we always used to prefer varchar because of it is very efficient.
Okay, why it is very efficient?
Because it occupies less memory space compared to char.
It can adjust columns too.
Uh, okay, somewhat correct. Adjust means like it is going to use leftover space or what?
It occupies less memory space compared to char. And if
Mm,
there is any unused memory also, it will use.
okay, so this is correct. The last point is correct. Okay, see, according to memory, both char and nvarchar both will use the same memory. Okay, maybe you're thinking in a right way, maybe the words are out with a different way. Okay, the memory in the sense, okay, let me take like this. The moment you say memory, uh, end of the day it is calculating the whole memory. That is what you are talking. End of the column.
If example, if we take an you said right, if we take a name
Mm-hmm.
and it if we take the character of 10, but the
Mm-hmm.
name contains only 8 characters, remaining two memories are wasted, right? I mean
Mm,
two.
yeah, correct. Perfect. See,
But
the
in
same
varchar it will not happen.
is correct. So, in terms of care, what she says is correct. And also, Satya told the same thing. Okay, whatever they both are saying that are correct. Okay, first, memory wastage in the sense, let's say you inserted few values into the column, the leftover space is wasted in the char, whereas leftover space is not wasted in the varchar. See, in general term you need to use leftover space. Okay, why I am talking about this means, if you tell something, interviewer should not get 10 questions on your answer. Okay, so that is where I'm asking you to do very good, well tried, and the answers was correct. Okay, and one more thing, I will suggest you not to use char data type. Always prefer varchar. If it is, I mean, if you want to take a char, and you want to take a char data type, take for gender column. In the gender, either we should take m or we should take f. If you're taking male and female, that's a different story, you should not go with char. If you're considering only m and f, then you can take char. I'll tell you when to take that also if required. Okay, fine. Very good. Now I am trying to take here varchar. So if you take varchar, you need to mention space also. How much space, how much memory allocation you are giving, that also you need to take. Okay, so I'm just taking varchar of 20. So which means 20 blocks. Okay, 20 blocks of memory I just allocated to name column. Getting? After that, I'll be taking ID. So what kind of data I'm just storing in an ID in general? What you're expecting?
Int.
Integer, right? Numerical values you're expecting, right? Correct. So if it is an alphanumeric, like A1, B2, something like this, you should go for varchar. But we are using only integers, so that is why I'm just taking int data type. Now, um, I'll be go with salary. So for the salary column, what kind of data type I should use?
Money.
Okay, so money or else int, right?
Varchar. Int.
Varchar is also fine. Int, varchar, money, anything you can use here. Float, anything. So I'm just using int here. And after that, higher date. For higher date, what kind of date? I
Date.
mean, which? date data type, right? So I don't want time to take, that is why I'm wait. Yes. Now after that, hire date column, I'm just taking employee hire date. Okay. And one more thing, I have gender. So for this, can I take care of one? I will try to insert only M or else F. Any of this only.
You can use care.
Exactly, correct. Care of one. See, because you can mention the space here, right? You can use it. Okay, now let me try to execute this one. Yes. So what is the error I'm just getting here? Incorrect syntax near the date. So where I have date here. So what is the syntax error? What is the syntax generally? Create table name. Okay, create table name, fine. After that, column, data type and constraint. So this is the column and this is the data type. So constraint is an optional one, it is not mandatory for us to take. If you want constraint, you can take it. I will tell you what is meant by constraint also, no worries about it. Okay, forgot about constraint here. Now call data type. Here also column, data type, column, data type, column, data type. Is this a data type? No, this is a data type. See here, just because I'm just taking space here, it is considering two different values. Two different values. So that is why while creating a table, you should not consider, I mean, you should not take space while while taking a table name or while taking a column name. Okay, so if you take like this, somehow it will end up with an error. What you can do is either you can remove space and take underscore. Now this whole name will be acting as one name. Now if you execute this one, see, command completed successfully, which means this table got created successfully. So see, I mean, uh, I just removed the space and I have given underscore symbol. What does it mean? It means it is a continuation of the name. If I give space here now, again it will throw an error. Okay, so don't try to take space between the column names. The same holds good for table name also. Now, Bhavya, I want to take space while creating a table. Maybe in the table name or maybe in the column name, I want to take space. Is that possible to take? Is it? Yes, it is possible for you to take. But how? Again, I will try to create one more table, the same table. Um okay, the same table with the space now. But how can you achieve this one? By using square brackets. If you execute this one, now also you can achieve this space scenario. Okay, so these particular, whatever the things you mention inside a square brackets, that whole part is considering as one name. This whole thing is considering what? As one name. Okay, either you can use underscore or else you can remove the space, or you can, if you want to have a space, you can keep that whole name inside a square bracket. Now this whole name is considering as a one name only. Okay, if you want, I'll show you. Okay, I won't show you, you'll get confusion. Okay, now I want to create another table. Okay, so create table name. I'm just copying and pasting here. You don't do that. You try to write a query. Otherwise, I will try to write a query. Create table. Sorry, sample. Sample 2 of name, which is of varchar of 10 id of int. Okay, and then okay, only with these two columns I want to create a table. Now can I execute this one? Now what is the error? It's a different error, right? Yes.
Because you give same table name.
So uh, I mean, is it not allowing me to take same table name in the database? Does it allow me firstly? You're right. No, you can't. You are not allowed to take same table name again and again in the same database. This sample to table was already existed. Understand this error? There is an there is already an object named this one. See, object in the sense it can be table, view, or anything. It doesn't matter. But there is an object with the sample too, and that to the same table. Getting? Now, what you can do? You can, if you give space, is it possible to execute this one? See, incorrect syntax 2. Why near 2? Why it was showing that? Because of the same space issue. Now, execute this one. Does it create it? Yes. See, this is different name and this is different name. Sample to it is separated with the hyphen and sample to it is separated with the space. Now, what did you understand from this? Do you think space is also a character in the SQL Server? Space is also having some value in the SQL Server? Yes. Okay, space is also calculated. Space is also having some value. Getting? Fine. So this is how you are going to create a table in the database. Again, I want to create one more table here. Create table. sample sample underscore 01. Let me take like this. And here I'm just taking name, which is of varchar. Actually, name is also a keyword, so that is why it is showing in a blue color. All the keywords are shown in a blue color. Okay, so if you don't want to make this as a keyword, just keep this inside a square brackets. Enough. This will be indicating as a column, but still fine if you keep something in this also. Okay, if you take something directly also. So varchar of 10, and again id, which is of int. Again I'm just taking id, which is of varchar of 10. Okay, now here I have the same id names. Is it possible for me to take same columns in that single table, same column names in a single table? See, column names in each table must be unique. So what it is telling, whatever the tables you are taking inside that column, inside that, you must take unique column names. So what names? Unique column names. Now, Bhavya, even though names are even though data types are different, names should be unique. Yes, even though you are taking a different data types, names must be unique in a table. See, you can take two different tables, and in the two different tables you can take same column names. Fine, you can create a same table with the you can create another table with the same columns. It will accept, but you need to change the table name. But in the same table, same columns are not taken. We are end up with an error called column names in each table must be unique. See, this is the duplicated column name it is telling us, specified more than once. Even though types are different, you can't take the same column names in a single table. In a single table means in an individual table. Okay, so this is how you're going to create a table by using a data types and by using a different column names and table names. Okay, so in tomorrow's session we will be discussing about constraints, and again we will try to create a table along with table name, column name, data types and the constraint. Okay, actually if you see the syntax here, you can understand. Create table name of column name of data type and constraint, column name of data type and constraint. So this is constraint is not mandatory thing. Okay, mandatory means important, whereas if you try to create a table, column name and data type is important, constraint is not that important. If you want you can take it, if you don't want don't go for constraint. So that is what that is why we are not getting any error if we didn't take a constraint. But at the same time we are getting an error if we didn't take a data type. Okay, now between data types and constraint, which is mandatory to take while creating a table? Data
Data
types are
type.
mandate. Exactly, perfect. Okay, so in tomorrow's session we will try to understand about this constraint, only these constraints we have. Okay, we will try to create it and we will try to use how it actually performing in the backend. Okay, yeah, that's all from my end for today. Do you have any doubts here? I'll open that. Yeah, do you have anything? Just practice this one. Okay, if not today evening, I'll connect with you if your SQL server is not yet installed. Okay, I'll help you to install that at least by tomorrow's class, or else maybe by end of tomorrow's session, or maybe day after tomorrow. You need to start practicing. If you listen, it will be very good. Somehow you're able to understand now. But if you didn't practice, again a new concept. Okay, practice it and let me know if you have any doubts. Let me know if you find out, if you figure out something new also. Okay, I'm very open to discuss new things. Okay, if you figure out a new thing, if you have some idea to work on, do let me know. Together we'll work on it. Okay, yeah, that's all from my end. If you have any doubts, please go ahead. Is the concept clear?
Okay, sister.
Okay, fine. So yeah, that's all from my end. Thank you so much guys, thanks for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you. You
Yeah,
too, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you.